Hi guys, my name is John Spellman, a wedding photographer and videographer in Birmingham, and you can find my work at jdsweddings.com. Now, if you're one of the people who have subscribed to the channel, you know I talk frequently about Fujifilm gear. Pretty much since the start of taking this semi-seriously, I have reviewed Fujifilm gear, X-T20s, X-T3s, zooms, wedding combinations, videos, all that kind of stuff. And I hark lyrical about it. I am a firm believer of whatever camera works for you is the best camera, regardless of its capabilities. Now, this comes with some caveats, and the reason why I'm making this video is because tomorrow I send away half of my gear to trade in for a Sony a7 III. Now you may be wondering why I am making this jump, and it's a very good question. If you look at one of my previous videos, I talked about the 5 best things about Fujifilm, and I talked seriously about their lens quality, and I talked about their kind of drive to separate the market, have a crop and a medium format line. I also talk about how they are familiar with old film cameras, like my old Nikon FM camera, which is what I started to learn photography with. So I guess I had an emotional attachment with them. However, times have changed a little bit. Progression of camera gear and my shooting styles have changed a little bit. And there unfortunately isn't a gap in the Fujifilm system which meets my criteria. If you want to know what my criteria inside is, it's the in-body image stabilization, very good low light resolution, and third-party lens compatibility. I have waited long time to try and see if Sigma are going to release any of the art series to Fujifilm. Nothing. I have been waiting for refreshes of popular lenses by Fujifilm, but nothing's come out. I've even seen them replace the X-T3, which I'm filming with the X-T4. It's using the same sensor. And sadly, it's getting to the point where I'm getting boxed in by the ecosystem that I've chosen. I'm not even able to use these Fujifilm lenses on a different camera. They're not backwards compatible with an adapter of any kind. Pretty much any other brand you can put on a Fuji, but not backwards. It's the nature of a crop sensor camera. The back end lenses are a little bit smaller. So I have chosen the a7 III, and I am trading in fact I've got it in front of me, I'm trading in my X-T20. This little thing, perfect condition for the amount of shots I put through it. Great camera. The sensor is a little bit lower than what I'd like. It doesn't perform as well in low light. Some of my recovery in Lightroom, the pictures are a bit hit and miss, and I know that by shooting those settings on a different camera I'd be able to get usable pictures, wouldn't have to recover so much, and hit rate would be higher. Remember, I shoot wedding photography. I'm an event photographer essentially. I cannot repeat a lot of the images, and I cannot repeat a lot of the situations, so I have to work with something reliable. So I'm trading that one in. I'm also trading in 23 1.4. Haven't even had time to do a review on this one, so this is what it's going to be in this video. Great lens, probably the best lens I've used for Fujifilm at all. This is the Gen 1, so unfortunately the motors are a little bit noisy in this one. There is a Gen 2 now out there. It's small, it's lightweight, the separation between background and subject is nice and poppy. You get that good bokeh in the background. You can get that awesome square hood, but I'm shipping it back to the warehouse with this petal hood which it came with. Great little lens. It's just for the wrong system, but wait. I'm also trading in, with a heavy heart, the 50 to 140 2.8, and to accompany this video around the same time there's going to be a Fujifilm wedding photographer's lens comparison where I compare this against the 1655 and explain the benefits and uses of each one. Great lens, amazing lens, stabilized, a little bit too heavy for my choice. I prefer the lighter lenses myself, but that's got quite a lot of value, and it hasn't really lost any value for me buying it secondhand to selling it secondhand. So I'm happy to see it go. It's going to fund towards that a7 III. With the a7 III, obviously I need a lens, so I have opted for a prime lens. I'm very used to shooting good 50mm primes, so I've opted for the Zeiss 55 1.8. And although a 1.8 lens, yeah, it is £500+, it's an incredible lens. It's made by Zeiss in combination with Sony. It's a planar lens. I've used those before my Hasselblad. I know the quality and I know the reputation that they're going to have for being fast, internally focusing. It's light. I can shoot probably 80-90% of the day at a wedding with a 50mm, and I plan on doing it. So my roadmap going forwards, I'm going to have probably for the next 6 months to a year, whilst I just build back up on the weddings, is a Sony a7 III with that 55 1.8. I'm going to have the X-T3, and the only lenses I'm going to have for that currently, the 10-24, so I can keep doing my YouTube videos, the f4 version, and I'm going to have the 16-55 2.8, just as a good walk around lens, you know, the can do anything. 2 lenses for the Fuji, one which I realistically won't use at weddings, and a prime. Then when I have the chance to, I'm not going to jump to a crop sensor Sony, I'm going to get another a7 III/4 probably at that point, and the God lens. The lens which I've only just heard about and learnt about, it's on pre-orders, it's a really good value. It is the Tamron 35-150 f2-2.8 stabilized lens for full frame cameras. I wish that existed when I made the jump over to Fujifilm. If that existed, I would never have made the jump. That is a all-in-one wedding photographer's dream. I do have a couple of other accessories just for the Fujifilm line, so I have to buy myself a new small rig cage for my camera when I make the jump. Everything else is pretty much compatible, fortunately. I'll need to get a specific Godox V860 Mark II for Sony instead of for Fuji. At the moment the TTL won't work, but I am going to try it, see if it works in manual mode. Find a way around it. Same with the Godox X2T trigger, I need to get the Sony version for that, but I think everything else is going to be pretty good going forwards. Now this would just be an open letter to Fujifilm if you're watching, cool. So I wish that the progression of your gear was faster. I wish that the X-T4, which replaced the 3, had a upgraded sensor, not the same sensor but stabilized. I wish that the capabilities would match a similar price ranged other camera. I also wish that the battery life could be improved. That is something which I've always struggled with. Carrying 10 batteries to a wedding is not ideal. I mean, it's usable, but it's not ideal. I came from a Canon 6D that could take 3 for the day. I also wish that you had so much integration with other companies just so we could have those lenses which you don't want to make but other companies are happy to make. Fills the gaps in the market, gets me something exactly what I need instead of having to make do with, albeit fantastic lenses, but maybe not the best range, and it's stifling and stopping me from getting exactly what I need on a wedding day. Now you could argue that I could just adapt and change my own style to match the equipment that I'm working with. Fortunately, I charge for weddings, which means I can buy stuff to make work with me instead of the other way around. I have worked with it. It will be 3 years with the Fujifilm X-T3 in March coming up. Same with the X-T20 actually. And I used the X100S like when it got launched, and I loved the camera. But again, I sold that for the low light capabilities and the autofocus capabilities. Nothing sadly is even touching that until you get to the Sonys, and then you've got the new Nikons and new Canons. All those ones, the autofocus is fantastic. Fujifilm's just a little bit behind. This stuff all needs to get packaged up. Courier comes tomorrow, get the new camera probably 3 days later. I'm going to have plenty of time to play with it and test it out. This is on the recommendation of Kyle. Kyle has had 4 Sony cameras in his time, so I'm going to go out with Kyle, we're going to shoot, we're going to learn the settings, the menus, set it up so I can shoot all the things I need to do, all the 4K, all the 120 frames a second videos, shoot the log, edit the logs, all that stuff. Need to try it out. First wedding comes up in about a month and a half. If you like the video and you wish I never moved, stick it in the comments below. I always fancy reading these comments and try and reply to each one. Until then, I'll see you in a future video.